When visiting Niagara Falls, one of the things that you must do is go on a Niagara Falls cruise or boat tour. There is no other way to experience Niagara Falls firsthand, and nothing as iconic as a boat tour. These two cruises follow the same path, but one is in Canada and one is in the US. So, which cruise is better? And how do you know which one to choose? In this video, we compiled a comparison list between the two Niagara Falls cruises from our personal experience and research to help you decide which one of these cruises is best for you when visiting Niagara Falls. But first, we would like to take a step back in history. The Maid of the Mist has been in operation since 1846. First as a ferry and later as a sightseeing boat. Since then, many famous people, including Princess Diana and Prince Charles, Albert Edward, and Mikhail Gorbachev, have taken rides on these boats. Over time, the Maid of the Mist boat rides have become symbols synonymous with Niagara Falls. On the other hand, its neighbor, the Niagara City Cruises by Hornblower, is quite new, only starting in 2014. Next up is where do they each operate? These Niagara Falls cruises operate on different sides of the Niagara River, which act as a border between the United States and Canada. The Maid of the Mist is the iconic boat tour from the US side of Niagara Falls. Its boarding dock is located inside Niagara Falls State Park in New York. The Hornblower Niagara City Cruises is located on the Canadian side. Its boarding dock is located along Niagara Parkway at the bottom of Clifton Hill near the zip line to the falls. You may be wondering if both routes are the same. And yes, they are. Both the Maid of the Mist and Niagara City Cruises by Hornblower offer the same 20-minute route. This route takes you up close and personal to all three of Niagara Falls: American Falls, Bridal Veil Falls, and Horseshoe Falls. However, Niagara City Cruise is the only cruise that offers evening, illumination, and fireworks tours, depending on the season. For more information on the different tours, you can check out their website. Next up, we have the tour hours and operating seasons. The Maid of the Mist usually operates on the first week of April and runs through the first Sunday in November, weather permitting. On the other hand, the Hornblower Niagara City Cruises has a longer season. The boat tours usually start at the end of March or the beginning of April and continue through the end of November, weather permitting. Next, we have ticket cost and booking information. Tickets for Maid of the Mist cost $30.25 per person. You can use your ticket once at any time, at any day during the current operating season. Once arriving at the entrance, you can just enter the line and board the next available boat on a first-come, first-served basis. Boats depart every 15 minutes throughout the day, usually from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can either purchase your tickets online or in person, but we recommend buying it online. Your ticket to the Maid of the Mist also includes access to the Niagara Falls Observation Tower, where you can see the surrounding area from a higher vantage point. The ticket for Niagara City Cruises, on the other hand, is $42.95 Canadian per person. Since it is in Canadian dollars rather than US dollars, when you do the exchange rate, the price comes out to pretty much almost the same as the Maid of the Mist. Niagara City Cruises has timed departures. Their boats depart every hour on the hour. If you know exactly when you're going to be in Niagara Falls, Niagara City Cruises with its timed ticket might be a better choice, especially during the peak season. This way you can just walk onto the boat docks when it's your time instead of waiting in line for the Maid of the Mist. However, if you're unsure about when you'll be there, Maid of the Mist might be a better choice. This way you'll have more flexibility. If you're in Niagara Falls and you can't tell which boat you're looking at, well, there's a good chance you can tell which one it is by the color of the ponchos. Typically, the Maid of the Mist uses blue ponchos and the Hornblower does red ponchos. However, we got pink ponchos because we were visiting during October, and that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Next on the list, we have seating arrangements and accommodations. The Maid of the Mist is wheelchair accessible, but it does have limited seating on board. Passengers have to stand on both the upper and lower decks, and there isn't any enclosed areas. Niagara City Cruises are wheelchair accessible as well, and they also have dedicated seating arrangements, bathrooms, and enclosed viewing areas on the lower deck. If you do prefer to be outside, the upper deck is open for maximum viewing. So with all of this information, which one should you choose? Since they are so very similar, our decision would depend on which side of Niagara Falls you will be on, the Canadian side or the US side. It's nice that you have an option because regardless of which side of the border you are on, you can still enjoy this tour. If you're planning on visiting both sides of Niagara Falls like we were on this trip, the next deciding question would be when and what tour you want to do. For example, if you want to see Niagara Falls at night with all of its illumination glory, you should go with the Hornblower. If your travel schedule isn't fixed, we recommend going with the Maid of the Mist. We ended up going with the Maid of the Mist solely for that reason. If you have elderly people in your group or someone who wants to be sitting down, the Hornblower offers more comfortable seating arrangements. But one thing is for sure, regardless of which tour you end up going with, you're not going to regret it. Now that we have all of the information out of the way, let's get on to our experience on the Maid of the Mist. Since this is obviously quite a popular attraction, one of the good things is that there is no shortage of signage pointing you which way to go. After passing through the bag check, we made our way across this bridge, which also takes you to the observation deck, but we'll get to that in a little bit. You will be taking one of 4 elevators down to the docks, and the good thing is that this entire experience is ADA friendly. Everyone that we encountered along the way was super cool, like our new friend Dax that gave us the ponchos.
You call me Dax, yeah.
Dax, I like that.
Call me Dax.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So what's up, Big Dax?
Big Dax? I love it. Even if you have to wait a couple of minutes for the next boat, one of the cool things about this spot is that it gives you picturesque views of the Rainbow International Bridge, which also happens to be the bridge that connects the US to Canada. After struggling to get our ponchos on, it was finally time to board the Maid of the Mist. These boats can hold up to 500 people at a time, so even if the line is pretty long, there's a good chance you're going to get on the boat. Even if you don't get on this one, the ride is only about 20 minutes, so just stay put for a second and it'll be right back. Luckily, our boat wasn't very crowded at all and we got ourselves a nice little spot right on the front railing. The first stop along the way is American Falls, which stands a very impressive 70 to 110 feet tall and 850 feet wide. American Falls is also practically connected to Bridalveil Falls, which is the waterfall at the Cave of the Winds. If you haven't seen our video about Cave of the Winds yet, you can click in the upper corner right now to check that one out. The next stop along the way is Horseshoe Falls, and there's a little bit of a fun fact. Even though most of this river is split directly down the middle, with half being in the United States and half being in Canada, almost the entirety of Horseshoe Falls is in Canada. Things will be getting a little bit chaotic on the boat at this point. Not only do these falls seem to create their own rain, but they make wind as well. Filming this adventure is extremely challenging. Keeping the lens clean is absolutely impossible. If you plan on taking photos or videos of your time on Maid of the Mist, please be sure that your camera is waterproof or at least in a case. It was kind of interesting because at one point we crashed through this wall of mist and there was almost this calm area in the middle. It felt like for just a second we were parked inside the eye of the storm. And just in case you are wondering, the crest line of Horseshoe Falls is a very impressive 2,200 feet wide. But that could very well change because somehow scientists have figured out that over the last 12,500 years, these falls have actually moved 7 miles upstream. This is caused by erosion due to the impressive flow over the edge. After a really fun 360-degree spin to make sure that everyone on the boat got a good view, we started heading back towards the dock. Along the way, the captain did take the time to do another 360 in American Falls, and it's amazing because these boats can spin in place.
That was awesome.
I'm a little moist. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little moist. There's something really cool about these boats that we haven't mentioned up to this point, and that is that they are completely electric. Every time you pull up to port, they plug it in like you can see right here, and by the time everyone is on board, it has charged up enough to make another run to the falls. So we'd like to send a big high five out to the Maid of the Mist for making this a fun and environmentally friendly experience. After you get off the boat, you will have a decision to make. Once you get out of the elevators, you can go left to get back to the park, or you can go right to go to the observation deck. We highly recommend taking a second to check out the observation deck if you have time. From up here, you will get great views up and downstream, and the great thing is it isn't that crowded up here because you need a ticket to access it. This of course only applies if you're doing the Maid of the Mist, but don't worry, if you are over on the Canadian side, there are some pretty spectacular viewpoints over there as well. And that is going to do it for our video about riding on the Maid of the Mist. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. If you have ideas for future videos, let us know in the comments. And for all the information about the Maid of the Mist, as well as other awesome Niagara Falls adventures, head on over to 𝐿𝑖𝐍𝐅𝐻.com.